Hello, good evening. This is Brother Benson Media, and today is Thursday. Thursday, right? Me good. Is it a Thursday or a Wednesday? I believe it is a Thursday. Yeah. So today is a Thursday. We are blessed to, have this humble time to just have a discussion on what has been happening. I am glad that my brother Barak and Migud has joined. And I want to take this opportunity to welcome them to the channel. To our viewers, this is Brother Benson Media, and here we say that your opinion counts. If you're new to this channel, kindly like and subscribe to the channel because if you do so, it is a way of supporting us and we really, really appreciate. So, to my panelist, Mr. Barak, you can say hi to our viewers before uh, we start, and then Miguda will also say hi after Barak.
Hi and good afternoon, good evening to our viewers and to my co-panelists Miguda and Mark. It's Thursday and nice to be here and we're looking forward to having a very good engagement. And we are looking forward for our viewers to engage us through the comment section. So karibuni sana. Thank you.
Mr. Miguda?
Hello everyone. Hope you are doing fine. Hello to Barak, Mark Obura, and to our viewers, those who have tuned, those who tuned for the first time. This is Brother Benson Media. Kindly subscribe to the YouTube channel, and you can give us a like or you can share the video. Karibuni sana.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Barak and Miguda. So today, of course, the topic says Ruto starts early campaign for 2027. Uh, this is a conversation that the people of Kenya has been having, and there is a good number of people who are having this opinion that whenever we have politicians who start campaigning early, especially those who are elected and are in serving in their respective positions, it is not right for them to start campaigning early because if they do so, they tend to forget or to drift away from the promises and working for the people of Kenya. So my question to you, Mr. Barak Miguda, is what is your take on the early campaigns which have started? Is it really a early campaign, or according to the president, he's saying that he's not doing a campaign and that he's simply performing his duty as the president? I'll start with you, Mr. Barak. Is it really a campaign? And if it is not, why is it that whenever he speaks about 2027 and the political leaders who are also surrounding him or working with him, they're also speaking the same language, a language of 2027. What is your take on that, Mr. Barak?
Well, I don't know what you expect from Kenyan politicians. If Ruto campaigned all the way from 2013 to 2022 when he was elected the president, what do you expect him not to campaign now? And he only has one election ahead of him, uh, and I think now he will be done with the issues of elections. Uh, when I don't know if you remember where the name Tangatanga came from, and he was being told by Uhuru campaign itakuja baadaye tufanye kazi kwanza, and he never listened to that. He campaigned throughout for 5 years, and Kenyans elected him as their president. So I think also Kenyans also love people who campaign every now and then. They don't want people who sit in office to work for them. They want people who come to the ground and talk to them the way the president is doing. Because that is what excites them. And Ruto understands very well. So I think even if you look at the opposition, I think we are just in a campaign mood. So let people campaign until they will run out of finances. So only those with finances will go to 2027. And
Mr.
as
Bala,
long as
just
if
a minute on what you've just mentioned, that let them
yeah
campaign until they run out of capital. My
yeah
question to you is, I don't know whether you watched the interview that when the nominated cabinet secretaries were being vetted by the, the National Assembly, you could hear majority of them were billionaires. Do you really think they're going to run out of, these billions? And if so,
I'm talking about those who don't have cash. Let me take an example of the Honorable Kalonzo Musyoka. He's campaigning on press conferences, yeah, because he knows if he tries what the others are doing, he will run out of cash. So let those who have cash, let them traverse the country, let them spend their money. Because you see, the president was in northern Kenya, and you see what those people have received from him, from the government. He has opened an immigration office in Garissa. He has opened the kickstart the vaccination for their livestock. He has declared that now they will not be vetted because normally they usually vetted before they are given a national ID. So he has removed that requirement for the vetting. So you see that the locals have benefited from the government. And even when he was in Western Kenya, there's a lot of politics, but at least where he's going, the locals are benefiting, no matter how small it is, as opposed to when he's sitting in State House, Nairobi. So let him visit the different parts of the country, and because the other, his hospitals are also strategizing. You remember when they always say, this is our candidate, we're going to seek partnership. So he also, as a politician, he must also strategize to ensure that he does not give them room to penetrate, especially his his backyard. And also, Northeastern is like is anybody can take Northeastern. So he has gone there early enough to lock them out. So that is how politics work. You strategize and you lock out your opponent from your backyard, and you also lock them from these swing votes. And you try as much as you can to ensure that you protect where your votes can come from. So that is politics playing. It has nothing to do with the leadership. It has nothing to do with it's pure politics. And as a politician, when you go somewhere, you must stamp your authority to tell them that you are the best, and you are the only one who can serve the interest of those specific voters. And that's how you win votes. And remember, it is nothing new. Ruto did this when he was the deputy president, and Kenyans voted for him. So he just continuing with what he was doing when he was the deputy president.
okay, thank you, Mr. Thank you, Barak. I'll come back to you in a few. Mr. Meguda, what is your take on the early campaigns by the president and his close allies? The moment, I mean, the conversation amongst the close allies is, they're speaking about 2027. And, some of them are saying that it has to happen, that he has to go for 10 years bila break. What is your take on that? And the president seems to be, on that, he seems to be buying that because already from what you're seeing, vile alikuwa anaambiwa na the former president, kila siku ako juu ya gari hapa na pale anatangatanga. What is your take on this? Is it really an early campaign, or the president is simply performing his duties?
Mr. President is a politician, and being a politician, you cannot exempt that now he's the president, so he's not going to be a politician. He remains a politician even if he's the president. And people do not stop going to church or mosque or temples because Christ has not come back. We keep on going to church, we as Christians, on a daily basis. As a politician, you continue campaigning because you don't know what's up. And 2027 is going to be a hotly contested election. Therefore, Waswahili husema safari ya kesho hupangwa leo. You must prepare for tomorrow's journey today. And that's exactly what Mr. William Ruto is doing. William Ruto knows very well that the opponents are regrouping. It's just a campaign, because even you heard what he was saying, ya kwamba wale jamaa wenye wajasoma, mimi niko na PhD. It means that the opponents is facing them head on. He is campaigning for 2027, and he want to take it by either means, because he want to do second term. He want to go for 10 years. He's focused about it, and that's why I told you that those who are still evaluating, it's high time they start campaigning as well, because Mr. President is not going for development towards alone. He's busy campaigning, and the way even he's talking to people, that since independent, I'm the first president to brought for you. Now you are not going to be vetted if you're looking for your IDs. Since independence, I'm the first president to sleep in Mandera. That's a clear indication that he's campaigning that if you give me a second term, I'll give you more things. And you heard what Dwale also said. Dwale said that all the votes of Northeastern belong to Mr. William Ruto by force. He was even compelling them that you must vote for this president because of 1, 2, 3 issues. In my view, it is a campaign, and just like any other politician, Mr. President is not limited not to campaign. He can campaign, he can walk anywhere he want. The freedom of speech, we are usually crying about here that we have freedom of speech. Even Mr. President has freedom of speech. He can also express himself at his capacity. Therefore, in my view, it's a campaign mood. It's early campaign, and there's nothing wrong with that. As a politician, you need to prepare early. And for those who have finance like Mr. Ruto, let them spend them, because they have much to spend. Unlike other people who will wait until 2026, or other will wait until 6 months to election because of the size of their pocket.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Miguda. You've talked about freedom of speech. That's a right that is enshrined in the Constitution of the Republic of Kenya. The question that I want to ask you is, if you followed, or if you've been following, the speech of the president and close allies. The other day when he was in Kakamega, he gave his opinion as a politician, and it was supported by some politicians as well, the likes of Farah Malim, the member of parliament of Dadaab. And there are some terms that were used by Farah Malim that were not really good. They were abusive in nature, and the people of Kenya felt that they were not nice. The people expected him to come out and apologize, and he didn't. We saw him the other time, today or yesterday at Northeastern, and he said that he has nothing to apologize. Na tena leo akasema that he's not going to abuse anyone. And whatever he said, it is the reality on the ground. So my question to you is, why is it tough for the government to, give this freedom of speech to the youths or the Gen Zs? Whenever they criticize the government, we've seen them being abducted, and some of them end up being killed. What is so special about the political class that a member of parliament would come out and abuse the citizens or a group of people, and there's nothing that they're done. There's nothing that they're taken through, or any law area, or any abduction, or anything to answer. We've seen the president himself using very tough, some words which are not really friendly, like, addressing people and telling them you are fools. At times he tells them you are possessed with the evil spirits, and that's why you are criticizing everything. Sometimes, the choices of word that he use are clearly not okay with his stature as the president. So my question to you is, why is it that them in the government have the freedom of speech and they can use any word, but if the young people or these other people use these words, then it becomes a serious thing to them, and the only thing that we see is abduction. That is number one. I want you, Mr. Barak and Miguda, to give your take on that. Something else that I want you to give your take on is, Mr. Barak, the goodies that the president took to the northeastern, you know, issuance of ID without the verification and all those, subjecting them through all those process, and the issue of passport wachukue huko Garissa, and the issues of all these good things that he took. My question to you is, from where you sit, Mr. Barak and Miguda, do you think it is safe, it is a good decision that was made by the president or the relevant authorities to lift that, search or check that the people of that area have been subjected? And if it is okay, how are we then going to know? At what point do we then know that the person who is being given or registered as a Kenyan citizen is truly a Kenyan and they have no any ill intention? Mr. Barak.
Well, the question that you will be asking is that with the vetting that is normally happens, do we still have foreigners who still get hold of a Kenyan ID through dubious means, corruption at the immigration or Department of Registration? Because if subjecting Kenyans who have a right to get an ID to rigorous vetting, and allowing some criminals who because of their financial muscles acquire these documents by through corrupt means, which one is better? I think these were initiatives that were put in place by the first government, the first regime, and the subsequent regimes have been following in the footsteps of the first regime. And it is time also to evaluate and look at what have been overtaken by events. This is does not only apply to the people from northern Kenya. I remember I had a friend who come from Busia, around Kenya-Uganda border, and he told me that it took him a rigorous vetting, and his ID took around 2 years before it came out. So it shows that it is a process that has been happening, especially to people who are born just next to the border, to ensure that no foreigners can come to Kenya and apply for an ID. So it is a declaration by the president. I don't know how it's going to be implemented, because it's a process, and it has been in place for many years since independence. So and until it's effected, that's when we can say. But I think it's good that every Kenyan be given an equal opportunity to get these documents, so that none is discriminated, because that discrimination, the way you usually feel when you are discriminated, is the same way everybody feels. So we should advocate for fairness for all the citizens, because all of us are taxpayers in this country, and we deserve government services equally, irrespective of where we are born, or irrespective of where we are coming from, irrespective of our surname. So that is something that the government should look into, but they should not lose focus on the issue of foreigners, because our borders are so porous. People can just come in and pretend to be Kenyans, and they get this document. And once you have the document, you have all the rights. And if you see the US is struggling with the issue of illegal immigrants, and Kenya is a hegemon in this region, so we might also fall victims of these things when we don't take good care of our process of issuing these vital documents. Now, you've talked about the politicians and calling people names, and nothing happens. I think if you've been following politics very keenly, and you've been listening to the Right Honorable Raila Odinga, especially when he was going on the streets, he used to call the IG takataka. Alikuwa anasema hiyo takataka ni gani hiyo? I remember he called Boynet takataka, And you remember 2023 when Azimio was going on the street, he called Burungei Mwijinga zaidi. So you must choose your battles carefully, because if you pick a battle with someone that you cannot handle, obviously you will not you'll be the victim. So when you see these politicians hurl insults at each other, they know the capacity of the people that they are calling stupid or whoever. Because I believe that the president was referring to the Honorable Kalonzo Musyoka, mtu ambaye anapanda ndengu anamfundisha nini about vaccination, mtu ambaye kuna elimu kidogo and these are political heavyweights, and you also want to come in and start hurling insults at us. And if you don't choose your battles, it is wisdom to ensure that once you go to the battlefield, even the Bible says that before a king goes to declares battle, war against another king, if the king is wise, they usually evaluate the capacity of their military, the capacity of their finance, and if they feel that we cannot manage this enemy, you go for diplomatic means. Because if you cannot handle military power, you don't have military power, you go for diplomacy. Well, that is how wisdom works. So it is unfortunate, but I think this issue of presidents calling people Pumbavu, I think it started with Kibaki. And during Kibaki's time, people used to laugh when Kibaki said, lazima kweni Pumbavu. And people used to laugh. But I think right now people are just so bitter with Ruto. So anything that he says is taken so seriously. And people become so angry. And when Kibaki used to call people Pumbavu, people just used to laugh off, and nobody took it seriously. And I remember even another, and during Uhuru's time, Uhuru had a problem with Governor Nanok, and he went to Turkana. You remember the issue where we had when we had oil in Turkana? I don't know if it's still there. Uhuru went there and he insulted Nanok so badly, and people were so angry. How can you do this? And these are politicians. They pick fight with each other, and they sort it out behind the tents, and it's done. So this guy Farah Malim, Farah Malim, he went overboard because he was referring to a specific group of people, and the words that he used was so unimaginable that can come from a honorable member of parliament. But there's people, when they get angry, they forget about their status, and they go overboard. And it's unfortunate. And it's good that he knows that he insulted people, and today he was saying he's not going to do the same. So people should not get worried when he's given a mic. So it is good that he's acknowledging that. But how the law is applied in our society, we cannot bury our hands in the sand. That when you are dancing with the government, nobody will touch you as long as you are praising the head of state. But when we are in the opposite camp, they will come for you if you try to say. I remember when Babuino, I don't know, called Uhuru something in 2017 before the handshake. There was a public outcry from all over. The flying squad went for him like with the speed of a cheetah, and he was dealt with accordingly at that time. So my last take is that let us choose our battles wisely so that we don't fall victims. Because in most cases, if you pick a battle with someone that you cannot handle, you will fall victim. And the constitution is very clear that we have freedom of speech, freedom of expression. But when it comes now to implementing, we have so many rights, and lawyers will tell you have so many rights. But when it comes now to effecting this right, because you rely on the state to effect these rights. Yeah. For example, if we have a right to picket, but if the state does not want us to picket, they will interfere and they will tear gas and will run away. So they will interfere with our rights. So in most of the times, the state normally interferes with the citizen when they are expressing their rights. And it happens world over. You see these things happening, and we make noise. Sometimes they give us that room to express our rights. Sometimes they do not give us that room to express our rights. So irrespective of the circumstances, we continue to advocate for our rights. Back to you, Mark.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Miguel. What is your take on the same issues?
Maybe if I can respond to there's a question I saw, Makobura, I saw something written by Gypsy Corner. Maybe if you can put it on the screen, I respond to that one before I respond to those questions. I'm not breathing any air in 2025. Actually, how I wish I could breathe that air. I'm still stuck where I was last year. And by calling him Mr. President, I'm just trying to be fair enough for the sake of debate. And for the reasons well known to me, but not that I cannot call him names. I can call him names. Those names I can call him. There's nothing I know. I can call him Kasongo. I can call him Zakayo. I can call him Kahongo. I can call him Masgo. But I can choose how to call him. But calling him Mr. President doesn't mean that now is die hard. No, I haven't been his supporter. Haven't been his supporter. That's what I know. I haven't supported him in his political journey, because even me, I cannot be compelled. I have also my own conscience. I have also my brain. I know the right thing to do. I know who to support, not to support. I know, and actually, for those who know me, you can ask Makobura, those who have been close to me. It's just we're just on the debate. I'm also one of the toughest people, and even that Raila we are talking about. There's times we are the few people, young people in this country, who can call him out. Because even back to our villages, people are telling us, Bana, wacha kupinga Raila. We have been compelled, even in this channel, that you have been receiving calls that your channel mnapinga Raila. Bana, you people don't like Raila. But we can also tell them that we don't want to talk. Let us just reserve. Mark has just said that you must choose your battle wisely. And that's what, but we can call him. As we have called him. We have called him out. We have called Raila out. We have called Ruto out. Even our older people in the at home telling us, bwana, nyinyi mnapinga Raila kwa nini bwana? Baba akisema ni iko sawa hivyo. But they understand us. This is how we this politics. And politics, by the way, let me tell you, it is not easy. The way those people who are watching, Barack will tell you, those who are watching it, it is not easy for the sake of debate. And also, you understand we are diverse, and our viewers are also diverse. To some extent, you must balance the debate. But if that time comes, if we meet in the battlefield, therefore we don't spare anybody. Currently, we are strategizing. But remember, if you go to a war, at battlefield, we can call him names. We can call him Kasongo, Kahongo, Zakayo, whatever. You can call him even a liar, Muongo, and it will be okay. And that's where I now dive in with my freedom of speech point. This Mr. President Ruto knows that he has that freedom of expression and speech. That is why he has nothing. He's talking anyhow, talk to anybody the way he wants, respond to anybody the way he wants. The only difference is that when you speak, you, an ordinary citizen, you don't control the police, you don't control intelligence, you don't control the national cohesion and integration. Therefore, if you speak, or first, wanakuzia uoga. Ukinunua uoga, wana celebrate. Wanakwambia wewe usiongee hivyo, hiyo ni incitement. So that unaweza buy uoga alafu will take advantage of you. But you should not fear. You should not buy fear as someone who is studying for the truth. If you know what is right, don't buy fear. Just stick to what is true and do not fear. Because with them, they have that state protection. And once, let me quote Edwin Sifuna, I said that hao watu wako na polisi wako nyuma yao. That's why they're very much confident. People like Kindiki, people like Mr. Ruto, if they have no police, they are, even them, at the time Raila was being supported by Uhuru, they were very careful how they were choosing their words, how to attack Raila, even the way Ruto used to attack Uhuru. He was a bit careful before he took power. And also, we are not exception. We must be very careful because we understand how this government works, and we are not that stupid so that we can fall into their trap. We must play safe as well. And freedom of expression, Mr. Ruto understand that. That's why he goes on abusing people, attacking people, because you know that no one can go for him. But the people can go for him. The people are supreme and they can go for him. But we, the ordinary citizens, if you try to abuse him, if you try to maybe respond to him, they will just try to come for you, send you text messages, threaten you, such things. But as someone who is a fighter, you should not fear them. That's why you should be brave enough to face them. And when it comes to battlefield, you know how to choose your words and to choose the weapons you are applying to your opponent. I think that is how I can respond to that question of freedom of expression, Marco Bora, because with him, he knows that he has that freedom. He enjoys it. That is why because that's we have been telling you that you can just use it. The provider that you must be very careful, and also don't do something because someone is doing. You don't know how people are outside here. Some people are just like we understand. There are some people who are the agents amongst us, and what I still maintain that just stand for the rightful thing and speak your mind without fear, without any fear of contradiction, and speak the truth. Stand with the people. Don't let the people go. And the issue of people being registered, Marco Bura, that issue of vetting, I think I responded yesterday, and I'll just leave it from that point.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Migoda. Judith here has reminded me of something that the comments of the political leaders. The president also says that he has a PhD, and so no one should not try to lecture him or to teach him anything. And if you've been following politics of lately, in the same place where I was, Northeastern, the senator of Garissa was also speaking of how the people of Kenya should respect the president and especially the young people, and they should not, be allowed to call the president names. And at the same time, the senator of Garissa is saying that Farah Malim did nothing wrong and that he was right to use the words that he used and that he should be respected because he's an elder. So my question to you is, if from the African teachings, let's maybe divert it into that. Is there any teachings that even if the elders are getting out of order, you cannot call them, tell them that this is wrong? Maybe you'll give me your take on that. Of late, we've also seen comments of members of parliament who are close to, the president, the likes of Sudi, especially Sudi in particular. He's been making very tough comments. The other day, he said that, uh, the former deputy president was planning, to assassinate the former prime minister. And then it takes time, sometimes back he was now at Moy Bridge, he speaks and tells the young people that they should not try making noise, and that if they want to make noise anaweza panga kila mtu na wachape 1,000 ama 2,000 kila mtu, and that is nothing to him. So my question to you is, why is this all pride that we're seeing in the political leaders, especially those who are closer to the president? Why are they using words which are not really, uniting the people of Kenya, but instead these are words that are actually making the people of Kenya, some of them, to even lose hope, especially the young people. Remember the kind of sufferings that people are going through. They cannot afford basic needs. And Sudi saying that as a pangisha watu na wadunge 2,000, and that is nothing to him. Where are they getting all these monies that gives them, this high level of pride vis-a-vis? Remember what the people of Kenya are going through, hakuna pesa, hakuna kazi, people are losing hope. But you see leaders who are supposed to be, ensuring that things are working for the people are speaking a language that is, makes the people to somehow lose hope because they are wondering that kama watu wakona pesa wanaweza dunga almost 1000 people 2k wamepata wapi na sisi pia we are also in the same country. These kind of questions are the ones that are going through the minds of the people. So Mr. Baraka Migura, what is your take on this? Because this is one of the reasons why the Gen Zs went for demonstration, because according to them the political class were enjoying life, and that made them to somehow made them ask so many questions that if was it really possible for them, were they really going to make it in life, because they were seeing it as the political class had taken everything and that there were no opportunities for them, and again the high level of unemployment. And the leaders were supposed to somehow come up with some ways of ensuring that things goes well, speaking a different language. You'll give me your take on that. And then we're also seeing today the governor of Bomet, Professor Barchok. He was arrested by the EACC. He's being accused of you know having shared some money, 1.2 billion, with suppliers and contractors, money that was paid maybe to those people, but nothing was done. My question to you is this raid of governors, we've been hearing of it, that there's a list of governors who are on the radar of the EACC, and you've not seen, this is the first one you're seeing. Is it really going to yield fruit? Like, are they going to go further with this to ensure that the people of Kenya are not going to lose this kind of monies? Especially during these tough times that the people are finding it tough, and the people in leadership are actually being accused of such huge money. 1.2 is a lot of money. It can do so many things. Mr. Barak, what is your take on those that just asked?
Well, if you look at every regime, you realize that we must have someone like Sudi in every regime. If you go back to the first regime of President Jomo Kenyatta, the second regime of Moi, the third regime of Kibaki, the fourth regime of Uhuru, and right now the fifth regime, there are people who have that sense of entitlement that the presidency is theirs, and they own it even more than the president, and they are ready to do anything to protect it. And it is a feeling that is associated with the power belongs to us, homeboy mentality. And I believe even the sixth regime that will come after Ruto, it will just have the same people. So let us not pretend that we will going to have a president with angels around him who will not have the same character of Sudi. I usually give a practical example because I believe on evidence. Look at the first president and how they were campaigning to dislodge Moi from inheriting him, just in case he died. And remember, Jojo said, but then that even imagining that the president can die is treasonous. How can you think that the president can die? So to them, Kenyatta was semi-god. He could not die. The likes of Kihiga Kimani, the father to the current governor of Nakuru, the Mbiu Koinange, these guys were called themselves Kiambu Mafia. So they wanted to protect their presidency so that even if Kenyatta dies, no, the vice president cannot take over from him. Unfortunately, he died and Moi took over, and they called him a passing cloud. And Moi solidified himself and came in the Kalenjin mafia, the likes of Nicholas Biwott. Yeah, the total man. People forget, and that is the challenge we have, that we don't understand where we are coming from as a country, and the how the total man behaved And even the role that he played, it is on record that he played a very big role in the assassination of Robert Ouko. It is on record. It is in court documents. It is commission of inquiries. Witnesses confirmed that he played a very key role in assassinating Robert Ouko. And Robert Ouko, it was just out of jealousy, nothing else. He was not even wanting to become the president. Those days, KANU was the only party in Kenya. You could not vie in any other political party, but he was assassinated because of being smarter. So it was even wrong to be smarter than the president. Now, after Moi went home, came Kibaki. It is said that in 2007, Kibaki was willing to hand over power to Raila after losing election. But because of people like Sudi who are surrounding him, yeah, he was told, don't even dream of doing that. This is ours. And you remember, when he won election in 2002, and they had promised a new constitution, the late John Michuki said that we were saying that because we wanted to be the presidency. But right now, because we have it, forget about it. And you remember the famous term that it is our turn to eat. Eh? It started by Kiraito Murungi telling John Githongo in the first term of Kibaki. So that went. Now Uhuru Kenyatta came in. And remember how we had very powerful people around Uhuru. Very powerful. Powerful than even Uhuru Kenyatta. He went. Now Ruto is here with us. Now, the only degree that varies here is that we have people who are so dumb and they are very rich, extremely rich, and they don't even have any sense when they are speaking to the people. They don't care about how you are feeling. They don't care about how you are going to translate the message. What they care about is their ego. They want to demonstrate to you that I never went to school, but I'm richer than all the professors combined. So, and the president entertains them, and that's why you see this administration is having so many challenges. They are messing up in the morning. You even go to support them, they mess up. You give them experts, they continue messing up. Even the experts are not helping them to redeem their image because of people who are illiterate and they are very much drunk with power. And this is the biggest problem with this regime. And if you look at even how this guy Farouk is ordering people on the podium before the president, even the deputy president is being ordered around. Surely, you know there's a problem, and this problem is not going to be solved today. It's not going to be solved tomorrow. We are here with this problem because these people are not willing to reason. They are not willing to let go. And even come 2027, I can assure you we're going to have a bigger problem because of such characters. And let me tell you, after Kenyans electing Uhuru Kenyatta in 2013, Reverend Jesse Jackson came here. He was a special envoy of America to the African affairs. And Jesse Jackson said that Kenyans' choices have consequences. Once you make up you make up your decision and you choose a leader to lead you, remember, don't take that decision for granted. It has consequences. Once Kenyans elected Ruto to become their president, they underrated the consequences. They were being told, and they insisted, and they sang, and they demonstrated that no matter what you do, we are going to elect him. He is our hustler's clerk. He is our thief. Allow us to be with him. The consequences of such decisions, we are living with them. And we might live with them for even 10 years. I can assure you. So Kenyans, when they go to elections, when they go to polls, they don't take those decisions seriously. They elect a leader as if they're going to be with that leader for a day. My friend, we are living in a presidential democracy where you elect a leader, you are bound with that leader for 5 years, unless otherwise. But you are elected, you are a leader for 5 years and possibly for 10 years because they don't want to go home at the end of their first term. They want to do all it takes to remain in power. And that is what is happening already. And they are telling you, even if votes will not be enough, we will add those votes. They've already declared. And you think those are empty threats? They are not empty threats. Look at what is happening in the IBC. Yeah? We have even a presidential advisor sitting at the selection panel. My friend, it is very serious. And it is because people did not understand that choices has consequences. Therefore, going forward, Kenya should stop voting with emotion, because this issue of voting with emotions, what is leading us into this mess. And it will continue leading us to this mess. The Englishman says, show me your friends and I'll tell you the kind of person you are. So before you elect someone, look at their friends. Who are their friends? Who are the people who are surrounding them? People who are ready to die for them. Yeah? People who can even go on top of State House and insult the whole country and say, Mutadu, we are the ones who are here. Look at the friends of these people. So for this case, I think we are doomed for at least up to 2032. I can assure you, it is very wrong, but there is nothing we can do about it because of the choices that we made. Miguda said that a journey of tomorrow you plan today. So the choices that you make today will affect tomorrow. Yeah. So any choice, anything that we are doing today will affect our tomorrow. And that is what is happening. So I think
Mr.
back to you, man.
Just a minute before I let you go. The constitution says that the president should go at least maybe a minimum one term goes for 5 years. You said that there's nothing we can do. I just want to ask you a question that in a situation where majority of the people of Kenya are in unison and they're saying that we are tired, we made this decision in 2022, we don't want to proceed with it in 2027. From where you see it, are you seeing any possibility of the people of Kenya, especially those who have, who are saying that they cannot make that mistake of continuing with this government to the next term? Do you think there's that possibility of them managing as far as things, circumstances and things are now?
Your question is not clear. It's ambiguous. Can you make it more clear?
Okay, I'll make it more simpler. We are headed to 2027. Election was done in 2022. In 2027, we are supposed to either give the president a chance to proceed to his second term or stop him and bring someone else. My question to you is, what is from where you say it and the interaction and the mood of the country, do you think the president would take would be given a second term with the people of Kenya?
It's 2027. It's not very near, and it's very near, depending with how politics is going to shape up. Number one, let me tell you that we are heading to a very serious election that can play out very ugly if you're not careful as a country, because there is nothing worse than dealing with someone who is desperate. When someone is desperate, they can make decisions that are going to affect the masses. When Kenya was being ruled by one party state, and Moi was forced to reintroduce multi-party democracy, Moi argued that multi-party democracy will cause tribalism in the country because it will bring polarization in the country. And he was told, no, this is the way to go. The world is turning democratic, and Kenya is not an exemption. So Moi repealed Section 2A of the Constitution, and multi-party was reintroduced in Kenya. And read your history very well. Kanu regime, they incited ethnic violence in Rift Valley, specifically Molo, Subukia, Njoro, Nakuru, to prove to the world that Moi say that it will bring ethnicity, it will be tribal clashes. So he was telling you, I told you, this is what is happening. Yeah. So he was just wanted to confirm. It's like he's confirming his fears, and he used that tactics, and he won. He won again in '97. And remember, in 2022, if you are listening to Kimani Ngunjiri of the former MP for Molo Town, he was warning the Kikuyus in Rift Valley that if you betray Ruto, remember what happened to us in 2007, it will repeat itself again. So people who are desperate, they can go at all lengths to do anything to get what they want. And I can assure you, the president and his people, they've already started telling us that ushawaiona wapi president akienda term moja, ushaiona wapi? And he don't want to go down to the history as the first president to serve only one term. So he's going to go to lengths. He's going to stretch all the options available to him to ensure that it does not happen. So I can assure you, you can even save this for future reference. It is not going to be a walk in the park to anybody who thinks that is going to unseat Ruto in 2027. It is not going to be a walk in the park, and you can even start feeling it right now. The president is so uneasy until he has already started campaigning. Barely, and the election is like 2 years away, but he has already declared that he's on the campaign trail. Yeah, he is calling on anybody who believes that can be his opponent and demeaning them. Yeah, so that tells you that the stakes are going to be very high. Anybody who wants to run against Ruto must be prepared for anything, because him and his people are going to ensure that they do not lose it at all cost. That's my take.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Barak. Maybe Miguda, I'll come to you. Just give us your take on that, and then I'll give Brother Ben a chance to also give us his opinion. Miguda.
I just wanted to say one thing, or whatever Barak have said. I want to say that if the boss is a PhD holder, but we have a problem as a country because the boss friends are not PhD holders. If the boss is messing, the friends will also advise him to mess more. And let me tell you, there are culprits among the boss friends and the boss personal assistants. There are some culprits, and they are in the public domain. These culprits, they are saying that if you critique the president, they will tell you that acha upuzi, acha ujinga, heshimu rais. To them, Ruto is God. To them, Ruto is everything. To them, Ruto is eternal. But Ruto is allowed to abuse people, to talk anyhow, but no one will correct him that you are the president, you should conduct yourself in this manner. Because sometimes even himself, Ruto, power might get into his head. He's a human being, he's not exceptional. Power can get into his head and he can speak anyhow. Someone should be there to remind him, okay, boss, you are going wrong. You're the president of more than 43 tribes. Consider your speech. Even if he has a PhD, but he cannot be expert in all field. There's a reason why there was a reason why the finance bill was not passed by parliament, because he was making errors with his PhD. So the boss might be smart, might be having a PhD, but the friends and the PAs might not have PhDs, might not be smart. At the same time, you find that there are some friends and the assistants who are not even public state officials, but they have the flag of the country, of the republic. What is the flag of the republic doing to someone who was never elected, was never appointed? Someone is just a culprit within the president's circle. There are some culprits in state house, some culprits working with him each and every time. And you have heard them talking and even to a point when there is someone addressing what is contrary to president. This government, my friend, you might look at it the way you are. It's not. This is a dictatorial government. That if you are given a mic to speak, they are even trying to tell you what you should say, and if you try to speak anything contrary to what they are already discussed, someone will come from President PA's desk and snatch mic from you. Or the other time we were at Siaya Stadium when Orengo was trying to calm down the Gor Mahia fans. Someone who is go ahead and tell Orengo how he should do it. So, in my view, those are the signs that you are not dealing with ordinary politicians. And the way we have said that someone might be learned, good, and management is having a poor management because the people surrounds him. And I don't know why someone who is learned, a PhD holder, only likes to be hanging out with people who are not learned. There's a problem somewhere, in my view. If I thought that's the case, we should look at what's happening. That's what I wanted to say.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Migude and Barak. Allow me to take this opportunity to welcome. Yes, yes.
I'm seeing Gypsy Corners.
Yeah, maybe you can give
You can
can give.
respond, Gypsy.
Yeah.
Jonathan Goodluck was a one-time president. Jonathan Goodluck was not elected as a president. He was the vice president to Umar Yar'Adua. And when Umar Yar'Adua died, he took over as the president and he completed the term. So because of that arrangement of the president coming from the south and from Nigeria is not like Kenya. The president comes from the north and next time the president comes from the south. So Jonathan refused to honor that agreement and divide. He said, no, I'm the incumbent. So the Nigerians voted against him because he was going against the agreement of the country. And remember, every country also unique in their own way. So I don't think even comparing Liberia with Kenya is really appropriate because Liberia has gone through even a lot of issues, even civil wars. And Liberians they are also not tribes because there are people who are there are slaves who are brought to Liberia from the US, so they don't even have tribes. But every country have a unique history. But we're just trying to highlight what is in store for us as a country, so that as we've been in politics for some time, we've observed Kenyan politics for some time, and we can tell you confidently that 2027 is not going to be how people are seeing it. It's going to be a very difficult election for us, and if we are not careful, the country can even plunge into chaos because of the behavior of the handlers of the president. Yeah, sometimes handlers of the president can even cause the country to go to war. It's not a walk in the park, and even those people who are planning to run against Ruto must be prepared adequately for this. Yeah, that's my take.
Okay, thank you. Makobura, am I set to go?
Yeah, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you so much. And I would concur with Barak. When you look at the election arrangement of Nigeria, Nigeria have what we call the rotational presidency. It rotates from two regions. Like, let's say, for example, like the way you cannot have somebody from the north going like immediately after somebody from the other side complete his term, automatically the other side will, and it has always been there, and that's what's happening with Jonathan. Good luck, Jonathan. So he vied against the agreement that is usually there. And if you look at even Jonathan is somebody that was picked because he was a deputy, he was a governor somewhere, right? If you look at his history, his history in politics can compare to President William Ruto. Is one person that has very lack in terms of his political career. Yeah, something usually happens for him to be in the top seat, even for the presidency. If you look at his history, so that rotational presidency that is in Nigeria, that's what costed good Jonathan. I agree with you on that. And Makobura, you asked Barack about the election, and even President William Ruto can win. One thing that you also have to understand about the politics is like the government of the day is not usually liked by the people. because people will always be complaining because of expectation. However much the government might be doing good, you will find that people will complain about it. But something also you have to understand that the people complain, ours is quite much complex. Even if you look at the examples that Gypsy Corner is giving us, examples, you might look at how they carry out their elections. Yeah, on it's quite much different with our political environment, because the pointing factors or the things that determine our elections or our processes is quite much different. For instance, like right now, I just want to give you a typical example. Adam Solo was supposed to be one of the IEBC, right? And again, he's serving he has been was appointed as the advisor to the president. Somebody has gone to court for the interpretation. What does it mean for the IEBC? So you feel like tactics delay is there, because when will the courts make that judgment and say that he's not suited to sit in the panel because he's working as an advisor of the president? So there's so many things that usually determine our election. That is one. Another thing, that when you look at our election, we are usually not prepared enough. We usually have, do we call it last minute rush? That in the process, since our country also, people like to go to courts to challenge some of the processes that do not follow the law. Those are some of the things that also affect us. So as he has said, apart from the candidates that will be running, the mechanism and the methodology that we are going to arrive at the election, even at the ballot, plays a major role in our election. So sometimes you might find that the ground does not like the president, but the system definitely will make him sail through. We are having a problem also with the Chief Justice right now, because right now they are waiting for Chief Justice to respond for the allegation that were made against her. So in the process, one thing that you will hear, that we are starting a process of impeaching the Chief Justice. What that does one leave us with the courts. And somebody will say the person who wants to come in will favor one side. So those are some of the nitty gritties, especially when it comes to our election. So sometimes winning is not a pure win, but is a massage, a win that has been massaged. You know, that is my view.
I'll still refer you to a song that I like, one for Prince Inda.
Eh,
Girwani to Ruto Guedo. I still believe that it is the right time that the people of Kenya from all over tribes. Today I was engaging a friend of mine who is from he comes from the area where the president comes, and he was telling me that it is true. He told me that I voted for the president, and if you ask me why, it is because he's our person, and he's truly our person, and that is why I voted. That is what he was telling me. But he told me that I can assure you that today I'm regretting. I'm seriously regretting. And he told me that even if he meets Ruto, the president, and gives him 1 million, he'll never make a mistake of voting him again. He better not vote. And even if he wins the next term and he starts, maybe he gets to a point where he'll be suffering, he'll tell himself that at least I did not make a mistake of voting him. So that is just a story, by the way. Can confirm to you, I'm not a prophet,
yeah,
but from my state, I'm also a politician. And so I also have interest in this country as a Kenyan citizen. And I can also influence decisions by decisions which are being made in this country. My stand, I'm not supporting anybody.
yeah,
The kind of suffering that we're going through in this country, I can tell you, my friend Meguda Barak and Brother Ben, let us stand up and ensure that we stand with the truth in this republic. the level of sufferings, the level of unemployment, the bad things that we are going through. Of course, even if we had another government, there's a possibility that we still not have everything sorted. But I can say that this is worse. Let us not give it an opportunity next time. Kindly, even if it means bringing anaitwa nani, someone else, hata kama ni mimi, mniweke tu huko at least. Sidhani kama nitawafinya vile mnafinya Saudi. It is not easy. People are finding it tough, and I would advise that when it comes to election, let us not vote based on, huyu ni mtu wetu. Let us not vote because tunajuana na yeye. Let us make a decision. Just the same way Barack said here that when you make a decision, it comes with consequences. We are today have consequences of having voted in this government. This government has actually turned against the people of Kenya, and they're using languages which are not really proper. Ni sisi tumewaajiri. Hao watu wanakula taksi yetu. Hii magari yote hii wanatembea naye. Ni sisi tuna fuel. Anaweza mwana anasimama mbele ya hiyo gari anaanza kutu. It is not fair. That is my plea to the people of Kenya.
Okay, thank you so much, Miguda. Barak, you wanted to leave?
No, Mark has said so many things, but he's not specific. He's so ambiguous. He just generalized everything, and he has not really appealed to. I was waiting to hear something tangible from Mark. You say that we should stand with the truth. Truth is subjective. Maybe because what you are seeing as the truth, to me, is not the truth. So I maybe I thought you wanted to say Kenya should start with so and so, because according to you, you believe that this so and so maybe represent hope, or the others are saying they want to save the country. Others are saying, I don't know, they want to do what. Others are saying they are tribeless. So because if you ask me, I believe track record of somebody should speak volume, because sometimes leaders are given a position, are given opportunity to serve the people, but now they take these positions and they start now using this position to amass wealth to themselves, and also to help their cronies or their close friends. And this is what we have been really dealing with in this country. You remember in 2022 elections, there was a lot of cushioning. We are being told, this guy, we know him, don't do this. But the masses, the masses, they want to be associated with that complicated guy. And they were telling off everybody who is having a counter opinion that, no, you think you know him, we know him better than you. So let us deal with it. So, and I think there's a narrative that is also being right now is going on. And Kenyans, I can assure you, even if you remove Ruto from the presidency and you vote with your emotions again for another person, because you are very angry, let us not be desperate to say that even if a dog vies, we'll just vote for that dog. No, the presidency should not be that simplistic. That's why we are ending up in a problem. The same way we are in a problem right now. And we evaluate candidates, their capacity, their track record, and see, do we have someone who can really occupy this office and will serve the people, as opposed to people serving him? I think that is where we have a big problem. And maybe if you can address that, because you've really generalized your argument, and I'm lost along the way.
Okay, Bura, do you want to respond?
Okay, this is what I was saying, that we are going to 2027, of course, and we are going there having learned so many things, having learned the hard way. So my point is, I'm not like, I do not have a favorite or a specific candidate so far. But what I'm saying is, when you get to that point, I know we'll have, to me, as much as they've started campaigning, I think let's give them time. We are going to get someone among the people who will present themselves.
Awesome.
let us make the right choice when we get there. That is my plea. And Brother Barak, it has not been easy. I don't know whether it was my first time. It was the first time I was even the woman. These are the kind of life that mnaendanga through. Anyway, good
Absolutely.
for us.
One of the things that we should learn, and I was just having some kind of like a conversation with myself about even the Gen Z, because Gen Z has become one of the constituents that people spoke about. Even the politicians, the big politicians, are so much interested in them. But one thing that they are forgetting is about the leadership that they want. Because in the same Gen Z, if you try to bring in options, each and every option you bring up, they have a reason to tell you that how they are not qualified. But I cannot see a situation whereby they can win by themselves, because the Gen Z we have today, I can compare it to the days of Jaramogi Oginga Odinga. If you look at the people who surrounded Jaramogi Oginga Odinga then, people like Gitobi Imanyara, people like James Orengo, you know, those young, brilliant guys, there's one thing that was driving them. That what was driving them was about to change the nation. The ideology, there was that ideology behind them. Yeah, even if they were supporting the likes of the Ramogi Oginga Odinga, the people, the Shikukus of those world, you know. But now, when you come to the Gen Z, even to the experienced politicians that they should drive their vision around, they tend to disqualify. So you ask your question, how then are they going to influence this election?
Is that my question?
Yes.
Okay. I've been saying we are doing what we call evaluation. I'll stick with that term. The kind of evaluation we are doing, we are in the process. I'm not speaking on behalf of the Gen Zs,
Yeah.
but I'm one, so I can influence. Uh, there are so many people who have shown interest in that seat, but we've not gotten to the right time whereby we'll be able to say that now now let us choose from one. It is okay that they've started campaigning, and we know early campaigns, it is an advantage to the political class, and especially wale wako na pesa na wameanza mapema. But something else that uh, I'm just giving my opinion. Starting campaigns early doesn't really mean that you will win. It is true that early campaigns gives advantage, yes, but I can also say here that when the right time comes, the right time is some few months to the election or 6. I've always believed that decision to who, I mean, when you want to elect someone, it's something that can change even within a minute. Remember last time I gave you an example that there's someone that I was really supporting, and then just because he was a close friend and someone that I'd really interacted with, so we were going to vote. This is someone that I even campaigned for. But upon doing a good analysis, on the last day doing that election, we were actually seeking for the nomination certificate. So when we, I was one of those people who were overseeing that, we were ensuring that our guy may win. So when we went for that nomination, I realized that the tone of what the people were saying was a different thing. And then I also did a clean look at everything. And then I told myself, huyu wangu hata kama nang'ang'ana na yeye, this one cannot deliver. And I simply changed and I voted for someone else because after doing good analysis, I saw that it is right for me to make this make this decision. It is the same thing you're saying.
Makobura, before you continue, sorry to cut you short. What made you to change your mind? Because voting is like this. Sometimes I might have somebody that I share my vision. Because the voting is all about losing and winning. Yeah.
It is true. I'll give you the reasons why.
So sometimes when you vote, you vote. I know very well that I'm losing on this guy, but I stand with my conscience telling me that I'm voting the right person, but I am losing.
Now I want to give you the reasons why I did not vote. So let me give you an example. Maybe with Miguda. I know Miguda is my friend, and he's vying for, let's say, a member of parliament seat. This is someone I've interacted with. This is someone that I know what he's capable of doing. I know that if he's given this a chance, I mean, this opportunity, this is what he can do, and this is what he cannot do. So after the analysis that I did, vis-a-vis the candidate that was there, as much as Megoda here is my friend, I think it is not right for me to just vote him just because he's my friend. Because maybe Barack is the opponent. Barack's, campaign, I mean, the promises and everything, how he views things and leadership might be better than, the view of my friend. So I opted to vote for maybe Barack here, not because he's not my friend. I mean, I opted not to vote for Miguda, not because, he's close or anything, but because I'm voting Barack because he understands his role and he understands the reason why he's going for that. So that is one thing that really matters, and it is a decision that can be made anytime, whether the time is long or short. We are doing evaluation. When we get there, we shall do the right. We shall make. We will actually campaign in 1 week in social media. This time around, sijui kama watafunga. In 1 week, we shall come up with someone mwenye tuna believe will deliver us. Mr. Miguda, maybe you can give your view and then Barack alafu tutafunga. I can see a good friend Douglas here is saying, is Omunyoro pay slip? Is in Omunyoro pay slip? We'll talk about, okay, maybe mnaweza peana maoni yenyu kuhusu pay slip. Pay slip is also trending, and it might also help people make the right decision in the coming days. Migud and then Barack, as you give your final, your take, you can give your final take as well.
Maybe you have not gotten what Douglas is saying. Douglas is not saying about the payslip of the people. He's saying your contribution to the debate is like someone who is getting something from former DP.
Well, let me talk about that. I have a conscious, good, nice mind that I'm blessed. But I'm not supporting Gashagwa. I'm not his supporter. He's not paying me for it. I'm not. Hata akikuja kusimama 2027, I'll never vote for him. Take that to the bank, Mr. Douglas Kipogong. My take or my belief is that we are headed to 2027. We are going to vote someone in. And especially when it comes to making that decision, I'll give it to someone who is new to the game, someone that partly has been held, someone who has delivered in other sectors, not actually in the political limelight. So that is my stand. Hata huyo Gachagua sijui yeye ni nani, hapana ajua yeye na sitawahi simama na yeye. I'm just giving my stand as an individual Kenyan citizen who is concerned about the suffering of our people of the Republic of Kenya. Good, you can proceed.
Let me clarify. That is what Jeff Sokona was asking, that which air am I breathing in 2025? That's why I told you that politics is not easy for those people who are in it. Because if I told them I could be in someone's payslip, I could not be here. I have no business to be here. This is just my own voluntarily just work for the sake of my country because I love Kenya and I feel like I should talk. Therefore, I can talk anyhow. So whoever want to do anything can do to me. But you know what we said, even some of us, let me just try to explain to our viewers. So, like Brother Benson was removed in a certain WhatsApp group of ODM. He received calls from Kisumu that hiyo channel yenu mnapinga ODM na tukubaliani na nyinyi. The same way I had issues when I went home. The people were telling me that hiyo story ya Babu Owino nataka kusikia hapo Nairobi. You people, you should follow Raila. And I was telling them that even me, I have also my brains. No one should carry it for me. I can decide even not to follow Babu or Raila. I can decide not even to follow any one of them. And also, there are many issues and many comments we are receiving apart from what's happening on the comment section. Even today, people say, okay, nyinyi mnalipwa na Gachagua, nyinyi mnalipwa na Ruto. No. If at all those people are paying you, I cannot be here. I could be now defending William Ruto in Citizen TV or Gachagua. But I just want to put it in a plain note that we are not here to support or defend any politician interest. That's not our business. We are not defending Gachagua, we are not defending Ruto, we are not defending Raila, we don't defend Babu, whoever you call. But as we are purposely, we say that your opinion counts. We are here just to give our opinion. It doesn't matter. I don't need to have your opinion. You don't need to have my opinion, or we can have divergent. Your opinion, you can even bring in your opinion. We incorporate with our opinion. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, purposely is to make Kenya great. It doesn't matter what you say, what I say. That is not relevant. What is matter is that we analyze the politics of the day, and we do it on a daily basis, but we are not here to serve anyone's interest. Let it go on the record that maybe someone on the comment section might be serving someone interest, but for me, I don't do that. Marco Bura does not do that, and Barack does not do that. Brother Benson as well does not do that. And if at all if anyone is doing that, then that is on decision. But we are not here to serve anybody interest, and we are not here maybe to. Actually, we are not in this business to please any politicians. They have the people to do for them those works. Makubra, the issue of the Gen Z, in my view, Gen Z is a strong constituency, but there are some challenges we are facing as the young people because we have not unanimously agreed on one candidate. We have been dismissing most of the people's names which have been proposed. At the same time, there's a section of Gen Z who are not registered voters in the country. There are certain Gen Z who never participated in the previous election. How sure you now they are going to participate in the forthcoming election? There are some challenges. Those challenges need to be addressed so that when you are banking on the Gen Z constituents, as those who are going to contest for that seat, they should be sure that the Gen Z will rely on somebody. And also, what I wanted to say is that Gen Z's votes are also not for a ride, because some people, like Alonso said the other day, that mimi nitaingia state house na Gen Z. How? Unataka kutumia Gen Z kuingia state house? Then the question is, what is there for us as young people? Because we cannot, mimi nitaingia state house na Gen Z. If Gen Z are not going to be used and dumped the way they have used our parents and dumped them, we are saying no. And let us hurry as Kenyan people to get the formidable person to face William Ruto, because William Ruto is going to defend that seat, and you understand the people around him are people who make decisions based on emotions, because they are telling you that unaongelesha rais aje. To them, rais is eternal. They will ask you, huyu ni rais, heshimu rais. Kama rais heshimu wengine, utamheshimu aje? That's the question. But we are not saying that you should not respect the president. You should respect the president. Remember the handlers of the president, the people surrounds him. There are some of them are not rational in their reasoning capacity. That is why you need to have someone who is formidable as early as now, and he can also begin campaign the way the current president is campaigning. But if you still dilly-dally until the last time That is where Barack was saying removing William Ruto is not easy. Back to you, Makubura.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Miguda. Mr. Barak, you can give us your take and also maybe your final remarks. There are some comments here from Eric Biaga and Chona. You can also comment on it.
Mark, I don't know if you remember when there was a by-election in Kibra after the death of a former member of parliament.
I remember
Okoth.
very well. I actually wanted to go. I had the intention of going to vie over there. I got support from the people. And if you go through my Facebook account, you'll find that at some point I started campaigning because I was going for that seat.
You submitted your papers for nomination.
I was in the process of going to do that. Then along the way, I realized that things were not very well in order. So I opted to relax.
You remember when what happened before Didmas Baraza was was chased away?
We are
There was a
colleagues.
group of young people who are with the current governor for Kisii, who was the then member of parliament for Dagoretti North, and they were telling Didmas Baraza, ongea na governor polepole wewe bwana, ongea na governor polepole. So my point is that you know, in as much as we are saying so many things about the Gen Z constituency, the truth is it is the same constituency that is going to be used to cause mayhem and to cause violence during this election that we're approaching 2027, because this is the most vulnerable group of people. And you know, politicians, they know that they can use their money to manipulate the young people, to cause violence, and even to attack their opponents. And it's not going to be just that all the Gen Z are going to be in one basket, because even in these political parties that we are seeing, but you are seeing strategizing themselves for the election. We have Gen Z that are also members of the same political parties. You remember the guy who ran to Nation Center? He's also Samuel Makore. He's now saying that he wants to strengthen the youth league in ODM. And this was one of the pillars of Gen Z. And I can assure you, as time goes, as 2027 nears, we are going to have so many people trying to now to align themselves with where the interests are going to be served. And that is the nature of our politics. Because even the young people who have political ambitions are going to be offered even free nomination, even direct nominations with these political parties. And just wait and see. And these people that you believe that hopefully they have a conscience that cannot align themselves with either side, I can assure you they will, and they will be given direct nominations in either UDA, ODM, Jubilee, wherever, just to accommodate them and to show other agencies that we are accommodating one of you. So can you give us your votes? And that is how these politicians are going to successfully divide this constituency, so that does not have a big influence in the presidential elections that we are going to have in 2027. Because number one, politics in Kenya is very expensive. It requires a lot of resources. And that is what these guys have really managed to hold on to. And majority of the Gen Zs, even though majority of them have political ambition, they don't have the finances. And even you, Marco Bura, or even Miguda, if you go to your home and you declare that you want to become a member of parliament, even a member of county assembly, people will now be coming to your home to take tea, to eat, to have lunch, because they know that now you have the money to feed them. And if they come and they don't take tea, they will start saying, this guy want to buy and he's very stingy. How can he get votes with all this stinginess? So you find that we are making election very expensive, so that we end up with people who maybe have stolen resources and they're willing to dish it out Because if you earn your money in a good way, you cannot spend it the way politicians do. So that is what is going to affect this constituency that we call the Gen Z. Even though we will want to influence and have the best candidate to vie for the president and eventually maybe to become the president, but the dynamics of our politics is going to make it very difficult. And when you listen to Sudi saying that you can even align here and I give you 2,000 each of you, and money will not finish, and people clapped, and majority of these people are actually the Gen Z people who are clapping for him for threatening that he can even give them 2,000 each of them, and they will go home and eat some nyama choma, and if they can even come tomorrow and get more. And where that is coming from, it will not dry. The tap will not run dry. So it shows you the magnitude of how of finances in our politics. Therefore, in Kenyan politics, never say never. You reminded me of when Jeff Koinange hosted Kimani Chungwa in the run-up to 2022 election, and Jeff Koinange asked him, "What if Ruto and Raila join hands? Will you still support? Will you be still in that camp?" And he said, "I can never be with Raila in the same camp. Never." What happened? So in Kenyan politics is the most confused career. You can never know where you will wake up tomorrow, because many Kenyans are emotionally blind and they make decisions without being rational. And when these big boys come together, you are boxed in a corner, and it's like you don't have a mind of your own. Yeah, you cannot reason beyond your political kingpin, which is not good. And that's why it is good to have a few individuals who can see faults in all these political big brothers. You can point fingers at Raila and say, "Here you did wrong." You can point finger to Ruto. You can point finger to Gachagua, Kalonzo, all these political big brothers. But it reaches a point where you don't see any fault in someone. Then you are just graduating to be a sycophant, because sycophants they don't see anything. They only say, "Yes, sir," or "Yes, madam." So I think we are privileged that we belong to a group of people who sees faults in all these political leaders, and that is how you liberate yourself. Because even though you are supporting a leader, but you can see when they are not doing the right thing, and you'll reason out and say, "No, no, 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 no. Here, Baba tupeleki vizuri." You'll say, "No, no, no. Here, Ruto is not doing the right thing." And even though you come from the same village, even the same word with him, you'll say, "No, he's leading us astray." As a person, I don't support that direction. And that is how people liberate themselves from political idiocy that we have in this country. Because what we have become as a country is that as long as you support someone, even if they are going to fall in Indian Ocean, you're just saying, as long as Baba amesema, wacha tuende tuingie tu kwa maji. Na tutatembea juu ya maji kama Simon Peter and Jesus. That is hypocrisy. That's my last take, Brother Mark.
Okay. Okay, thank you. I think we've had a long discussion. Maybe it's right to maybe end the show. I'll give you maybe one minute to give your final remarks, and then we'll close. Maybe to remind our viewers, this is Brother Benson Media, and here we say that your opinion counts. If you're new to this channel, kindly like and subscribe to the channel, because if you do so, it is a way of supporting us, and we'll really appreciate. You can join the Brother Benson family by giving us a like or a comment. Eric is saying the coalition to take Ruto home will be so big than NAC 202. Okay. Yeah, so maybe Miguda, you can give us your last remarks, and then Barak, and then we'll close.
My last remark will just say that currently the campaigns have been activated, and current president or William Ruto is doing it perfectly. He has been moving the country with the tag of maybe telling people that development tours, but in the real sense, is campaigning seriously to an extent that is even giving out tokens. You saw him giving people money, the student, pupils, and even you don't know what is happening at night, because after the day meeting, they usually meet at night. You don't know how many people he has met at night, how many elders, how many men, how many women, how much he has given people. I can just say the campaign is on, and it's high time for the Max team, for those who are evaluating, to come up with their formidable candidate to face William Ruto, because we don't want it to be a one-man show. Let us have someone who is strong. The way I think that they need a coalition which is more strong than NAC. That is a clear indication that the current president taking him home is not easy, and that's the reality. Let us agree on how we can take him home, because the high cost of living affect everybody, and everybody has been complaining across the country. And I think it's a matter of taking me home, because they told us that there is only one democratic way of taking me home. Let us stop going through streets that Ruto must go. Let us not force him out of State House. Let us not form any coup. Let us not form anything to take him home. Let us just wait for 2027 ndio tumtoe kwa njia ya haki. Now, the Kenyan people, an opportunity will be presented before you in 2027. Kindly use that opportunity very well, and do not cry after that somebody must go. Let us just make the right decision. Let us use our conscience. Let us not use our emotions. Let us leave these things like tribalism, mwizi wetu, huyu ni mtu wetu, hata kiiba ni mwizi wetu, hata kama those things are outdated. Let's just apply our conscience, and also let us give civic education to elderly people, to the Gen Z. I agree with Barack. Not all Gen Zs want transformation. Not all Gen Zs want reformation in the country. Some Gen Zs are just used by these politicians. Let us also give civic education to our fellow Gen Zs, that let us do the right thing, and let us occur this country once and for all, for the betterment of our time and the generation to come. Thank you, Makubura. See you next time. To our viewers, bye-bye.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Barak.
Thank you, guy. And let me just emphasize on what my co-panelist Miguda has said about the issue of 2002 coalition. You know, the dynamics are very different. You know, in 2002, KANU had been in power since independence. And remember, 2002, we did not have an incumbent defending his seat. Moi was going home. He had already served his 2 constitutional terms. So he was just trying to ensure that his successor, his preferred successor, Uhuru Kenyatta, becomes the president. And Kenyans really wanted a change of regime. And KANU had to be removed at all costs. And the people who came together and removed KANU are the same people who are united together in 1992 when multi-party democracy was introduced in Kenya. The people who are in opposition then, majority of them, are the people who came together because they had a vision for this country, and you can even see that vision was replicated between 2002 and 2020, 2012. That 10 years was the golden era in Kenyan governance system. And that's why you see there's a lot of reform, there's a lot of change, economic growth during that time, because people who came together and removed KANU from power were people who had a vision for this country, people who had already been in political scene, and they knew where the problem was, and they knew where they wanted to take this country from. And that is why you see when they rallied behind Kibaki and became the president, together, they worked together to ensure that they reformed the Kenyan economy. But if you look at people who are warming up in the opposition. Sometimes I listen to people arguing that Gachagua is the best man, and I just wonder whether they landed in Kenya yesterday, or were they here when Gachagua was the deputy president, and how Gachagua was talking as if he was the alpha and omega. Let us not have this selective amnesia when it comes to politics, because that is where we make mistakes. There are people who do not even have the moral authority to tell us anything about reforming this country, because they are the people who have manufactured the mess we are in right now. Yeah, when Ruto was deceiving people that he can transform this country, and we are telling them this guy is the deputy president for the last 10 years. What else can he do? They said no, he can do something. They are the same people right now who are telling us that now Gachagua can do something different from Ruto. Surely, can we reason and just stop that because it's like we are suffering from amnesia. We don't remember what happened in 2023. We don't remember how Gachagua was boasting how we will crush protesters who goes on the street. Yeah, so let us evaluate leaders. People who voted in 2002, they didn't just vote for anybody. They voted for people who had a track record. And you can see from the history what they did. They transformed this country. They were there from 1992, 1997. Yeah. And they transformed the economy of this. And Kenyans can testify and say our lives changed because of this regime. So let us not just be blinded by political rhetorics of people who are so incompetent, people who are so selfish, people who, once they're in power, they get drunk and forget about anything. Let us evaluate people and realize that people who have something to offer for the country, it is not a matter of just taking someone home. Once he goes home, what next? That is the question that we should be asking. Yes, we are all united against Ruto. Then
You're muted. You're muted on your side. I don't know what the problem is.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Yeah, thank you. So I'm just saying that we must have a clear way of saying that this is the people who have a vision for this country, and they must tell us that vision clearly. The vision should not just be to get someone out of office. Then we behave like you see what is happening in Congo right now. If you remember how Tshisekedi was brought into power, the guy lacked any vision for the people of Congo. Now look at what is happening. So we must have someone with a vision, and he must tell us how he's going to implement that vision once he's in office. Kwa hayo machache na mengi zaidi, nimeshukuru sana kwa wale ambao umetuungana na sisi jioni ya leo. Continue sharing and liking our page and subscribing. Until tomorrow, stay blessed. Asanteni sana.
Kiswahili imechacha, lakini vile imechacha hata mimi itabidi nizungumuze hiyo dakika ya mwisho. Kwa wenzetu na marafiki wetu ambao walikuja leo na wakakuwa na sisi, nachukua hii fursa kuwatambua na tena nasema ni asante sana kwa vile mmepata wakati kukuwa na sisi, mmetuongelesha the comment section. We really appreciate, and you've also given us your view. I want to take this opportunity to really appreciate and to say thank you to Gitonga, Eric, Gypsy Corner, Douglas Kibogo, Judith Karuitha, Sante sana Judith, there's Brenda Obedia, Sante sana Brenda, Silas Odhiambo, and everyone who joined. Thank you so much for finding time to be with us. I can also see a good friend, Mdumez, bye. Okay, thank you so much for also coming in. We really appreciate. Thank you so much. We hope that you'll join us tomorrow as well. Tumeshukuru sana. Thank you so much for finding time to be with us. We really appreciate. And from our side, we're saying have a blessed night, have a blessed morning, have a blessed afternoon, a blessed evening from wherever you are. Thank you so much. And may God bless